This conference will now be recorded.
Thank you all for being a part of this webinar today, conducted by Empower Financing, who is one of our financial partners. We at EduLoans feel proud that we have with us today Mr. Lutz Brom. He's the Vice President on behalf of Empower Financing. He is the Global Marketing Head for Empower. I'm Gurpreet. I am the Product Manager for EduLoans. So Lutz will be taking us through the funding options after receiving college admits as to how Empower Financing can help in funding the students for their studies abroad. We would now like to hand over the session to Mr. Lutz Brom so he can take it further from here. And in case if you have any questions or you have any comments, you can always type it in the chat box to the right on this GoToMeeting. Below the attendees, you will have a chat box where you can enter the comments. Feel free to ask your questions through the chat, and the questions would be answered after the session is over or towards the end of the webinar. Mr. Lutzbaum would be answering your questions. Thank you, Mr. Lutz, for taking your time out, Mr. Brom, and helping the students to understand your product better. So we now hand over the session to you, sir. Over to you.
Thank you, Gurpreet. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm very excited to share with you some information about how to fund your study abroad education in the U.S. and Canada with Empower Financing. Today, my name is Lutz Braum. As Gurpreet said, I'm the head of marketing for Empower. I was an international student myself. I was born in Germany, but went to the United States to study at Arizona State University, and then went on to Wharton. And since then, I've worked at places like Citibank and PayPal, and now I'm very happy to be working with Empower to help more students like myself and like yourselves to enable your education abroad. And I've also worked for Wells Fargo. Now, what we'll cover today is short introductions about Empower. I'll talk about how to fund your education with an Empower loan. And I'll also briefly cover two other programs that we offer, career services support called Path to Success, as well as our scholarship program. And I'll make sure to have plenty of time left over to handle all your questions at the end. So please add them to the chat box to the right, and I will cover them later on. So Empower's mission is to enable high-promise global citizens like yourselves to further your academic and financial aspirations, because we believe that your mobility should be borderless, and we want to enable people to pursue their education all over the world. We were actually founded as a social benefit company, which means we have our mission is almost more important to us than our economic mission. We were actually founded by two former international students who both experienced financing problems when they came to the U.S., and they decided to do something about it and start this company about almost 5 years ago. And since then, we've helped thousands of students enable their education. We are a global company. I'm based in Washington, D.C., but we also have a large office in Bengaluru. We have offices in New York, San Diego. We have a team in Uruguay. And what's not on here, we also have a team in Toronto. We are mostly consisting of former international students. We speak 20 languages. We have 13 nationalities represented on our team. So we're very proud to be part of this group. And because we've all been former international students, we know a lot about this topic and feel like we're very much the experts in this area. We work with over 350 universities in the US and Canada. We cover all 50 states and 4 provinces in Canada. We've already processed over $1 billion in loan applications, and we support students from over 200 countries. And I'm very proud to say that our student loan was named the #1 student loan for international students by NerdWallet. And most recently, we were also rated the top student loan for international students by US News and World Report. So let's talk about how to fund your education with an Empower loan. So the funding challenge for students like yourselves is that lenders in India tend to require cosigners or collateral. They want your parents to help you out. They require lots and lots of paperwork, and it's not the easiest process to get an education loan. On the other hand, U.S. banks and other lenders will also require a cosigner. Usually they will ask for a U.S.-based cosigner, which is also not something that a lot of students have unless you have a relative in the U.S. who's willing to be your cosigner. So Empower is really the only U.S.-based lender who supports international students without asking for a cosigner. And that is really what makes us unique. We are unique in many ways, actually. We are unique in the fact that we partner with the universities to make sure that students at those universities know about all their funding options. We're unique because our credit algorithm, the way we evaluate you, is not based on your past as much as it is about your future. We just look at your future potential based on what school you go to, what degree you're studying, where you will work, and based on that, we make a decision. We're also completely electronic, cloud-based, mobile-enabled, have lots of data security, so we have top technology deployed, and we allow students to make payments to us from all over the world seamlessly, so it's very easy to do business with us. So the loan itself, let's talk about that. As I said, we do not require a cosigner, we don't require collateral, we don't require credit history. What we do offer is a fixed rate loan, and fixed rates, I'll cover that a little bit later, we believe is a better option because you avoid interest rate fluctuations. It makes budgeting a lot easier. You know exactly how much to pay every month. We also offer interest rate discounts for good behavior, such as regular payments and graduation. The loan itself is a 10-year loan. So after your graduation, you have 6 months of a grace period before you start making principal repayments, and then you have 10 years to repay the loan. And the maximum per student is $50,000. That amount can be used for anything that the school puts on their bill for you. So it covers tuition, housing, meals, healthcare, basically anything that the university charges. And to make it easy for you, the money that we lend goes straight to the university and gets applied to your bill, so you don't have to worry at all about making money transfers to the university. We take care of all that for you. The nice thing about our loan is also that we help you build credit in the U.S., which I'll cover later why that's important. And our loan support letter also helps you with immigration to get your I-20, which is the form that you need to get your U.S. visa. And of course, you can repay the loan anytime. There are no prepayment penalties. So if you can't pay it off earlier, we welcome that because that saves you a lot of money. Let's go into some of the more details because these are the most questions that most students usually ask. So what are the rates? Well, the rates for graduate studies is 11.99%, but after our interest rate discounts, which are 1.5%, your rate is actually only 10.49 or 10.5%, which compares fairly favorable to loans everywhere else, especially considering that these loans are loans that require no cosigner. If you're an undergraduate, the rate is a little higher. It's about 13.99, which becomes 12.49% with the interest rate discounts. I'll cover the interest rate discounts on the next slide. And then on top of that, there is an origination fee of 5%, which gets added to the balance, and you pay that off over the term of the life of your loan. So if you're borrowing $10,000, the $10,000 goes to the university to pay your bill, but your actual loan amount is $10,500, and the difference really adds up to about $2-3 per payment, so it's not that much. People also ask a lot about what our loan amounts are, and we have a range from $2,000 per student to $50,000 per student. However, we ask that you borrow that in at least 2 chunks. So we will not give you $50,000 in one go. You can apply for $25,000 for 1 year or one semester, and then reapply for another $25,000 for the following term. But the lifetime limit is $50,000, so about 35 lakhs. And then how do people repay? Well, the repayment of interest actually starts right after you get the loan. So you make small interest payments while you're already in school, and then the principal repayment starts 6 months after graduation. So why do we ask for interest-only payments during school when you may feel like you're not making a whole lot of money? Well, there are lots of benefits. One is you avoid accruing the interest, which other lenders do, and I'll show an example soon what that means. But more importantly, the payments that you make while you're in school in the U.S. are reported to the U.S. credit bureaus, and it helps you build credit. And credit building in the U.S. is extremely important because when you want to rent an apartment, the landlord usually asks for a credit history. When you apply for a job, employers tend to check your credit history. And if your credit history is poor, you might jeopardize your abilities of getting an apartment or getting a job in the U.S. later on. And so our credit building actually helps you not just with your loan, but also with your job search afterwards. It also creates some discipline by helping you get used to paying off the loan. The interest charge is pretty small, usually less than a cell phone bill, and you also get to enjoy the interest rate discounts a lot sooner. So let me explain what those are. So we have 3 interest rate discounts. The first one you can get as soon as you sign up for autopay from a bank account. So literally the day after you get your loan, you can sign up for autopay so that you don't have to make payments on your own, but it's taken care of by your bank. And immediately you can reduce your interest rate by 0.5%. Then if you make 6 months payments on time, which you tend to do because autopay helps you do that, you get another 0.5% interest rate discount. So right away, while you're in school, you've already reduced your interest rate by 1%. And then when you graduate and send us a proof of employment, we will reward you by reducing your interest rate by another 0.5%. So 6 months after graduation, immediately upon graduation, you could have reduced your rate by 1.5%. Now, why is it important? Let me take you through an example of how our loan differs from a typical loan that doesn't ask for interest payments. So let's assume that you have a loan of $21,000. With Mpower, you would make a $200 payment every month while you're in school, which can be easily covered with a small job on campus, because in the U.S. you make about $15 an hour, so that's 10, 12, 15 hours per month that you can work and make payments. But the important part is that when you graduate with Mpower, you will still only owe $21,000, whereas a competitor will have added all those payments and calculated more interest on those payments that you didn't make, and you will graduate with a $26,000 loan, which means that after graduation, your monthly payments are higher, and your overall financing charge is also a lot more. So you can save thousands of dollars using the approach that Mpower recommends. And of course, you can save even more if you pay off money early, which we also encourage you to do. The other thing that we believe is important to know is that our fixed rate loan, I strongly believe, is a better option than a variable rate loan. And the reason for that is because when you're a fixed rate loan, the risk of interest rate fluctuation is on our shoulders, not on yours. Your interest rate will never increase, which is a nice comfort to know, rather than worrying about where the interest rates are heading. And your payments never change, so it makes budgeting a lot easier. So overall, we believe that we have a very good product for students. So how do you get that loan? What do you have to do? There are really only 2 criteria for getting a loan from Mpower. One is you have to be admitted or enrolled at one of the 350 universities that we support, and that list of schools is on our website and is publicly available. and it covers pretty much all the major universities in the US and Canada. And you also have to be within 2 years of graduation. The reason why we do that is because, as I said earlier, we evaluate you on your future potential and your career prospects. And that is a lot easier to do when you're closer to graduation. If you are an undergraduate student coming to the US as a freshman and sophomore, you may change your majors a couple times, and it's a lot harder to estimate where you'll go after graduation. So for undergraduates, we'll support juniors and seniors. And for masters, because they're mostly 2-year programs, of course, we cover any program. The other thing that we offer is that we cover any field. So unlike some other competitors, we don't just limit this to MBAs or engineering degrees, but we cover any degree, whether you want to be an architect or an arts major or liberal arts or a lawyer, we will cover you and provide loans for those degrees. How does it work? Well, it's fairly straightforward. You come to our website and you check your eligibility, which basically just checks whether you're going to one of our schools and when you are attending school, which takes less than a minute. Then there's an online application form, which takes about 20 minutes or so to complete, because we do ask a lot of questions, because we don't ask for any collateral. So we need a lot more information from you about your background and your education and your test scores and all that. Once you do that, you would get a conditional offer within 2 to 3 days. And if that's once you've received that conditional offer, we will ask you to upload several documents to verify the information that you provided. That doesn't take a whole lot. You just have to make sure you have all those documents available. Things like a passport, a resume, your transcript, for example. And once you have uploaded that, we can give you a final approval. At that point, we'll send you a visa support letter, which you can give to your university to show that you have the financial support for your studies. And they will then issue the I-20, which is the form that you need to get your US visa. And then once you have the visa, the loan gets dispersed directly to the school. The school tells us when they want the money and how they want the money, so you don't have to do anything about that. The money just shows up in your account with your university. And that's pretty much it. Then you make small payments throughout school, and when you graduate, you call us or email us to get your interest rate discount. So that's about the loan. Most of our customers are very, very happy. We have 95% customer satisfaction rate, so our customers are very happy with how we help students, and we are very proud of that. And that's also why we have gotten so many awards for our loan, because it is a fantastic product, but we also provide a fantastic service. Now, on top of that, like I said earlier, we are a social benefit company, which means we have a social mission at the heart of our company. We were founded because we want to help students. Yes, we also want to make money, but primarily we want to help students and make a positive contribution to society. And we do that in 2 ways. Not only do we empower students with their loans to succeed and to get their education, but we also want to make sure that once you have that education, you get a great job. Because let's face it, your education is really just a stepping stone to a great career. And we want to help you with that journey as well. So we've developed a program called Path to Success, which provides numerous services to help you professionally while you're in the US or Canada. So we'll provide career resources and career readiness assessments. We'll provide a free resume review. We do mock interviews with students if they want to. We provide networking support. We have a private LinkedIn group where we post jobs and internships. In fact, we just hired 8 interns ourselves for the summer, and we made those internships available to our borrowers before anyone else, because we would love to employ people who are also our customers, and quite a few of them are. So we try to do a lot of things to help you really get started here in the US. I know the Career Services Office at universities also do that, but many of them are not necessarily equipped to help international students because they spend most of the time helping domestic students. So we try to provide additional support from people who've been in your shoes and who know that. We also provide immigration support, on personalized coaching, So there's a lot more that we offer. And on top of that, we also provide scholarships. And you should definitely check out our Global Citizenship Scholarship, which is on our website right now. The deadline is actually July 15th, which is on Sunday. So you still have a couple of days to write a very brief essay, which is the only requirement really that there is to apply for the scholarship. All you have to be admitted or enrolled at one of the 300 schools that are part of our partner list. And if you are, then a short essay, about 300 words or so, about what you want to do with the education is all it takes to apply for that scholarship. We also have a couple others. Another one that's currently open is Women in STEM. So if you are planning on studying a degree in technology or engineering, that's another one you should check out. We also have one in nursing that was already awarded this year, but we'll have another one later this year. So there are always scholarships that we make available on our website. So you can always come back to that. There's also a scholarship alert that you can sign up for so that you don't have to worry about it. We'll email you when new scholarships become available. We've had quite a few winners already from all over the world, including India, China, Brazil. We're looking forward to getting lots and more applications. So please make sure to check that out. Quick point to other resources. Obviously, our website has a lot more information. I encourage you to go there and click on the FAQ tab. That has lots more content for you if you have more questions. We also have a student guide that you can download. It's also on our website. For example, if you want to share some information with your parents, this is a guide that you can download and show them what we do and why we do it and how we do it. And then we also recommend that you visit 2 more websites. If you're going to the U.S., there's a great website called edupass.org, which has a ton of information about how to come to the States, how to move here, how to immigrate here, things about how to get housing and healthcare here. And the same thing goes for Canada. If you're going to Canada, then we would encourage you to go to studyingcanada.org. Both of those are 2 great resources for more information. So with that, I'm going to finish talking, and we'll let you ask some questions in the chat box. So if you have any questions, please put them in there now.
Thank you, Lutz, for taking such an informative session, and it was a really wonderful presentation there. We would also want to thank Arbaz for coordinating and getting such a wonderful webinar organized in association with us at EduLoans. And we really want to thank all the students for being patient and listening to what Mr. Brom had to say today. So you can feel free to put your questions in the chat box to the right. You would see 2 phone numbers on your screen. These are the phone numbers for the loan counselors or the loan officers at EduLoans. So Mr. Brom would be answering a few questions here today. And in case if you have any further questions, you could feel free to call on these 2 numbers and speak to our loan officers who will guide you further about Mpower as a loan option, as well as the other options we have available at EduLoans. So Mr. Brom, we would have the questions in the chat box. I would request if you could just scroll through all the questions and answer them for the students today, sir.
Yes, I'd be happy to. So there's a question there about the interest rate. So yes, the interest rate is effectively 10.49% when you take advantage of all the interest discounts, which 95% of our students take advantage of. So that is the correct rate that you have there. As far as funding off-campus stays, so because we pay the money directly to the university will basically determine how much money you need. And if you need money for off-campus housing, you can borrow for that, of course. The money still goes to the university, but then you work with the university to basically get a refund. The university can then give you the money back as a check or as cash. and you can then use that money to pay for your off-campus housing and pay your landlord. But it all goes to the university. So if you're staying on campus, obviously that's even easier because the university takes care of that. But if you stay off campus, then just talk to the university and ask for them to give you to reimburse you for that money so you can pay your landlord off campus. As I said, the interest rate is fixed, so it doesn't depend on LIBOR or any other floating rate like that. As you know, the interest rates have increased over the last several years, and we want to make sure that even if that continues, you are not affected by that. So we take on all the interest rate risk, and once you have a loan from us, that rate will never increase. The question about what schools do we partner with? There is a tab on our website. If you go to our website, this is our website right here. There is a tab up here, Get a Loan, and you can go click here to schools we support. And there's a long list. There's also a map. So if you want to use the map, you can do that, or you can scroll through this list and find your school. You can find it by alphabetical name. You can find it by state or by country. So it makes it very easy to find out where we actually support. But as you can see from this map, we provide a lot of help at a lot of schools. Somebody's asking about a question of how we compare to Prodigy Finance Loan, and I think some of them I've already mentioned. One is that we have a fixed rate, so you never have to worry about your payment increasing. The other one is that we cover any field of study, so regardless of what degree you're studying, we will fund that degree. Whereas Prodigy tends to finance mostly MBAs and some select engineering programs. They also don't cover as many schools. I think in the US, I don't want to speak for them, but I think it's about 90 or 100 schools, whereas we cover 350. So you have a lot more choices with Mpower. But they're also a very good competitor, and we know them well. And for some students, that may be the right option. But we believe that we also have a very good option for students. Let's see, those are pretty much all the questions that I'm seeing. I think I covered the process for getting a loan. That chart that I showed you during the presentation is also on our website. So you can go to our website and click here, and you see at the bottom of the list, above the page, the process. And like I said, you can either learn more, we can show you more information about this, or you can apply and get started right away. Also, if you have other questions, obviously EduLoans will make this webinar available to you after this webinar, so you can always refer back to it.
That's right. We are recording this webinar, so anyone who would want to view the entire recording could visit our website in the next 2 to 3 days. This session will be live on our portal, so you can feel free to see the entire video recording and the audio. Of course, you'll be able to hear what has been recorded today. So you can feel free to anytime go on to our portal and get a view of the entire session. We'll just take the last 2 questions that have come in from Vijay Agarwal. So Mr. Brom, if you could just answer these last 2 questions, and then we will be more than happy to answer the questions for the students when they call our loan counselors at EduLoans.
Yes, I think the only question left here is that interest rate of Prodigy is lower, and how is that possible? Well, it is possible because it's a variable rate, so they know that if the interest rates go up, they will charge you more, and so basically they pass the interest rate risk to you, so it's less risk for them, and when there's less risk, you can charge a little bit less. That's true. And the other reason is because they will only take or underwrite MBAs, and yes, if you go and get an MBA from Harvard, you can get a much, much lower rate. That's true. But not everybody gets to go to Harvard for an MBA. So for the thousands and thousands of other students who want to maybe study architecture or film at USC, or be a dance major at Juilliard, or any other degrees, there really are no other options, and that's why our rate is the way it is. So I think that is the last question that I see myself, Gurpreet. So thank you so much for allowing me to present this information. And I look forward to hopefully welcome you to many of you to our website to at least apply for our scholarship, which is free to apply for. And if not, then also please consider us as your funding option as you continue your journey on your educational journey. And I wish you lots and lots of success. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your time today, Mr. Brom, and Mr. Hashmi. Thank you for getting such a coordination done for this lovely webinar today. Once again, thanks to all the students and the people who've logged in. We also had a few of our consultant partners who would have been a part of this webinar today. So we really thank everyone for being a part, and we have these series every Saturday. It starts at 4. So it's a webinar series that we at EduLoans have started in coordination with our financial partners. So you can feel free to attend these webinars every Saturday. And we are open to answering your questions. You can anytime call the loan counselors at EduLoans and take it to your own benefit. Thank you so much. You all have a wonderful day ahead. Bye-bye.